we learned.
Yeah, I know, it's so
Like,
freaking beautiful. It's so perfect. Everything's just like intricately, like, I can't fucking say that word. I can't say it really is. Yeah, intricately connected. It's like, you know, everything's just, you know, made up smaller. Everything's in numbers. That contrast is necessary for it to exist in the first place. It's just such a simple concept, but it's so beautiful when you can recognize that and you can see
like
how that. And that's why. I know that's what's probability, where it's like, you know, you don't know. It's like it's pseudo randomness.
It's kind of like that.
Pseudo randomness.
It's like you have like, let's say the weather. The weathers of something on this day, and they always happen to coincide. But then one day they don't for like no reason. It seems like seemingly no reason.
But there is a reason. There's a cause for everything. So I forget who said it. There's a quote. I think it might be from Ringo Nine, but it's some philosopher. I forget his name. But his quote basically goes like this: to say something happened without a cause would be contradictory in terms. To say something happened without a cause, something happens because something made it happen, you know? That's like the literal definition of it. So to say it's like the same thing with God and whatnot. And like I'm like with my belief, I think all religions are in some way like correct, like Jungian archetypes and whatnot, like Carl Jung, it applies back to that, where it's like we're all using the same type of shit trying to get the same concept, because religion is just a moral compass. It's not a perfect guidebook. It's all made by our imperfect, you know, selves trying to grasp something that's incomprehensible and never truly proven or just exactly, all that stuff. It's a moral compass, and like some people can take it and use it to abuse power type of stuff. So it's like entirely just like, you know, it's like religion, like the number one thing that's been fought about like ever in the history of the world and whatnot, and the number one thing that's been fought over is religion. Because people can't accept, well, I mean, it is kind of survival in a way, because religion being used as a vehicle for power across all of history and whatnot, but at the core of it, it has good intention, because it has because it is a moral compass, and it's to point things in the right way, what we think is the objective best, and it's our best shot at trying to grasp it, what we should be trying to do and whatnot.
What's so disappointing about Western culture is we've shifted away from using religion as a moral compass.
Yeah, it's more like ourself. Yeah, exactly. So it's kind of another religion in a way.
Like, I kind of
if you think
prefer
about
this, like
the terminology of sorts of that kind of stuff.
Atheism
But
is their religion.
But yeah, no, the reason why.
It's so funny.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's really funny. Yeah, no, because atheism, they say I'm against God, but that's like saying you're like kind of admitting to it as well. It's like that. It's the same thing with Satanism as well. It's like I don't like God, so I'm going to worship the devil, but you're giving that power as well to his name. It's kind of just silly how it all works out. But yeah, no, that's why I believe all religions have some truth to them. They all have, they're all true in some direction, because it's all trying to grasp the same thing, using the same concepts. Like I was saying, Jungian archetypes, like the yin and the yang, up and down, good and bad, the devil and God, Also, is it this way?
No.
It's the horse place? All right. But yeah,
sorry. I haven't been out of the house in months.
That's all good. I mean, you're doing hella good.
Yeah, you're doing good.
For hiking this shit, yeah. You're doing hella good, man. But, what should I say? But yeah, no, I think it's once again playing back into how there's everything and nothing, and like, the contrast, opposite sides, the extremes. One cannot exist without its contrast. I think that's why it's so important as well to be able to reach that kind of state of balance for everything, really. That's how we become true peace of mind. Because like I was saying, it's like what you were talking about, maybe it's a physical sense where it's stable and unstable equilibriums, shit like that. We got a mountain biker coming up, by the way. What do you guys want to eat when we get done with this? Here, let's stand over here on the side. Is this guy coming up here? Yeah, let's let him go by. I was saying, what do you guys want to try getting to eat after we're done with this?
Yeah.
I'm asking, what do you want to eat?
I'm fine with anything, but
anything
that's not like chocolate or pork.
Okay, let's go to Chocolate Factory. Afternoon. But yeah, that's why it's so simple on concept, just 0 and 1, that binary type of shit. But it's emergent theory once again. These tiny, tiny little units become this big, intricate system, and probably same kind of applies to our universe and whatnot. And the same goes for God, where it's like that quote I was saying, where it's like to say something happen without a cause would be contradictory in terms. That type of shit. The same kind of applies to God, where I have my own kind of theory. Because when I was younger, I was appalled at the idea that God couldn't exist, because I was a hyper Christian family and shit. I was like, but I couldn't stop thinking about it. I thought it was like the devil or something that was making me try to think that. I was like, how am I supposed to question the word of God? But it's like, it's like, when I say God, I don't think it's some dude up in the clouds or in heaven. I think heaven and hell as well is just another way of us trying to perceive, because it's like physical places, It's another way for us to...
The line between good and bad is so often blurred. It's like...
Yeah.
And then there's also causation, like, how is this person the way they were?
Exactly, because it's all, like, it's not like there's an objective, it's like there's an evil person or there's a bad person. It's like how their conditions influence their environment they grew up in, because even that's like totally out of their control. Once again, brings up the concept of whether or not there's actually free will or not, because like you can't control like all that stuff if it's already predetermined. It's like you're predestined to be a bad person or to be like, any kind of person. Like even like the most evil people, it's like yeah, exactly. It's exactly like that. It's like in our system of morality, but if you look past the system of morality, it's like everyone's equal in that manner. It's like no one truly chooses or gets a choice or a say in whether or not they're a good or a bad or evil person.
I will say
and furthermore,
people that are fucking they're just evil.
Well, I mean, they also could have been born that way. It could have been chemical alterations in their brain, childhood development, all these different like super specific things that like hardwired them to be this evil, fucking villain type person. But with God as well, one of my proofs, going back to what I was saying, where it's like I couldn't handle the idea of God not existing. If you think about the concept of infinity, it's the exact same thing with causation and whatnot, like things leading to other different things, because with numbers, you can always add 1 to a number, right? You can think of the biggest number ever, like tree fucking like 50 or something, if you know what that is in here. Do you know what tree is? Or like, you should look it up. It's like fucking insanely interesting. Like things like that, just insanely fucking large numbers. And also, do you know the notation where they use the up arrows for exponents and stuff like that, where it's like 3 to the 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 3, and it's like a bigger number than we could.
I've never heard of that.
Yeah, you should totally look into it.
But I know what you're talking about.
No, it's a bunch of stuff on Number File. Like I watch their shit a ton. It's so fucking interesting. But even things like that, it's like you can still add a 1 to it, and it's the same thing with God. It's like if
we were just way down.
Holy crap, dude! We came so fucking damn.
Yeah, at the end of this, I think it's gonna be like 12 miles.
Yeah.
I think this is a 12-mile trail. I'm not sure.
Oh, seriously? Damn. That's hella surprising, but we're doing hella good on time. But yeah, even going further than that, it's like if you ask an atheist, it's like, what made the Big Bang? Some people will be like,
Big Bang was proven false.
Yeah, I know. Well, even stuff like that, if you ask him anything, it doesn't just matter if it's Big Bang or not. For example, I'm just saying, for example, you ask what made the Big Bang, they could be like, dark matter. And it's like,
it's probably the dog that shot.
Yeah. But if you take that, it's like, what made the Big Bang? They're like, dark matter. It's like, what made dark matter? Quantum fluctuations. You can keep asking, what if? What made this? What made this? What made this? And on top of that, even if it's like, it's an infinite loop, an infinite cycle of Big Bangs that has no start or an end, it's like a singularity and so forth. You can be like, okay, what made that infinite loop of Big Bangs and a singularity and so forth? You can keep asking. It's the same thing as infinity, and you can never say it's a paradox. Yeah. It's a paradox of infinity. It's infinite, like the whole system, no matter what logically, it's like there's no end. And in that case, it's like, you can always ask what if, and even with simulations and shit. Say, for example, we're all in a simulation right now and whatnot. It's like they're in the same dilemma as us. It's like if we were to make a simulated world, it's like we have no idea if we're simulated, and if we're in a simulated world, then the simulators could also be in another simulation, and so on and so forth. Infinite loops of infinite simulations, like simulators simulating other simulators, and a simulation made by other simulators simulated by other simulators. That type of shit, dude. Like it goes on for infinity. It's another paradox in and of itself. But it's this hierarchy. It's like this system where it's perpetual ignorance. That's the whole entire point. It's because it's structured in such a way so that we will never reach the top of the summit.
It's because
if we reach the top of the summit, like I was saying earlier, you know how we were talking about where it's like, if you knew everything, like from the get-go, there would be no other step because you're not stupid to some degree. Because as long as there's something you don't know, like paradoxes and whatnot, then there's still something to move towards. There's still something to try to understand and further understand. Yeah. And if you have this infinite hierarchy where you can never understand the top or even reach it or even come close, you will always be stupid to some degree, meaning you always have something more to work towards, meaning you will always be able to have that kind of like meaning, you know, that kind of value where it's like that what's built into us primitively, or like as you know, as humans itself, the whole concept of humans where you just constantly want to innovate and keep going and keep trying to learn more and stuff. It's like it's built into us, and we'll be able to do that forever. Like no matter, even if we figure out we're in a simulation.
Yeah, and like
and that means like nothing is, you know,
breakthroughs. They start to show that like you know how people were like, okay, there's biology, chemistry controls biology, physics controls everything, all that stuff.
Yeah, even science.
But now breakthroughs are saying biology is like the one that's controlling. And it kind of like I can kind of have an intuition.
It's always going to keep shifting like that. We're always going to keep trying to understand something, but nothing can be objectively proven or disproven. Yeah, no, exactly. But I'm like,
you know what I hate? I hate when people refer to science as if it's like a constant.
Yeah, it's not a constant at all. It's never been a constant.
Why don't you believe in science like it's a religion? Like, why don't you believe in science? Why don't you?
Science is just the pursuit of trying to, like, you know, of like logic, pretty much, of trying to logically understand and
it's trying to fit
the world around you. It's our best attempt, our best shot at trying to understand something that is totally, personally, probably forever incomprehensible to some degree. We're trying to analyze something put in front of us. We all started out as ignorant, the same level of ignorance. We're all these ignorant babies who have no idea about anything, not even our own existence and stuff, are just popped into the world. We all start at the same level. We all start at ground zero, and we're always just trying to climb up. But in reality, we never like actually go up at all, because we probably, you know, like even if we're like, oh, we proved this to be a fact, or we disprove this to be totally, you know, unfactual, whatever, it's like you still don't know, because you don't know what's beyond the filter of our eyes, our lens of reality, our window into reality. Like, for example, four dimensions, like a spatial dimension. It's like, what if we're all calculating this stuff in the third dimension as if there's only 3 dimensions? We have no idea if there's higher spatial dimensions, and there's other things that are actually.
Well, I think dimensions are more of a subjective thing.
But not even just, yeah, that's also subjective as well. It's another.
Because like
everything is subjective. But
here's the thing.
Because if you're trying to explain that, it's like everything could also, if we're in a simulation,
we could also be like statistics. Like, I know. You can think of like a color as a three dimensions: red, green, blue. For computer science, like at least in computer.
Yeah, no, it's different. It's different windows into reality. It's different. It's different.
It's just like a
different apparatus. Yeah, different apparatuses. Oh my God, that's beautiful. Damn. I gotta take a picture of that. Jeez, man.
You can see right up to Wilson.
We went pretty far.
Wow.
Well, let me see how far. Let me see how far we've walked so far.
Jeez.
I started a pedometer when I.
Oh my gosh.
I only got like 6 hours of sleep. It was hard for me to sleep.
Yeah, same. I only got like 6, 7.
I don't even know if I had 6. I think I did.
Walked 7.5 miles.
7.5
so far.
That's pretty damn good, yeah.
I think it's only downhill from here, right?
Should be, yeah, because that's the car right there. Let me get her going.
But so is that your car? Or?
That's my. Well, I mean, it was my mom's. But yeah, I might. What am I trying to say here? I might give it to my younger brother if I go to get a new car, because he's like super. You know, he was like, I don't even know how to properly define it, but he was just really attached to my mom. He still is. So he's a huge Christian and stuff, and he like. His whole thing is like, you know, he wants to be able
That's
to
weird because my
afterlife stuff.
My little brother is like super Muslim now.
Yeah,
he does his 5 daily prayers. Like even my parents get mad at him. Like where he, like let's say he's in the middle of a birthday party, he goes and does his prayer.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's what my brother is like in Christianity. That's exactly what my younger brother's like. I'll see him praying like before we watch a movie or something. Like it's, you know, but I get it, because I was like that. I was that kid before at one point, because I was like, you know, the number one fear for humanity instinctively for any living thing is the unknown, because the unknown could lead to your death. And the whole goal as a biological system is to try and survive and reproduce. The whole point is to fear the unknown so we can survive longer, so we can have babies and continue the cycle for millions and millions of years.
But then we also have curiosity, so like...
And we have curiosity, yeah, exactly. And it's...
So we seek the unknown,
curiosity
but also
killed the cat, you know, that type of shit. It's like, you know... Yeah, no, it's exactly that type of shit where it's, you know... it's just trying to keep ourselves from that fear, you know. But when you come to understand that the unknown is the greatest gift of all, because that is where, you know, it's ignorance. The unknown is ignorance, and ignorance is what allows us to have this kind of meaning in the first place, where we can keep going and explore new things and learn new things. Because if we didn't have ignorance, nothing would be new, everything would be static, everything would be constant, everything would be normal, and we'd be like a singular, you know, we would be the peak of knowledge. It'd be like no fucking point, pretty much. So that's why it's so fucking beautiful that we're able to be in this system where we can perpetually move forward, keep like trying to learn new things, but at the same time never be able to prove or disprove stuff, because we have no idea, you know, like say for example, like there's a, like gravity, for example, we view it to be, you know, constant and whatnot, but it's like the instant it changes, we have no way of proving or disproving that someday everything could just flip on its axis and like brand new equations and everything.
About how the magnetic poles are going to
exactly, like shit like that. It's, well, not even that. I mean like on a whole entire reality like level, like gravity just one day stops existing. Like if we're in a simulation and something goes wrong, like there's a glitch or something, and like it's gravity just fucking stops existing for like out of nowhere. It's like that just totally disproves our entire understanding of it being like a fundamental thing of the universe.
Chaos theory kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly, chaos. It's like it's all of that. It's just like reality is so fluid. We think it's a concept, but by no way is it fluid. It could always be changing.
Did you hear about
change your perspective?
Wait, did you hear about the Mario speedrun? Who were the cosmic the cosmic universe did some shit where or the Mario speedrun glitched and Mario fell to the floor. Like there was supposed to be no glitch. And you cannot reproduce that glitch unless like the cosmic quantum reality does the shit. And
yeah, exactly. Shit like that.
Like the universe wanted this speedrunner to just fail. He literally fell through the ground.
No, it's incredible. Like that's why it's so awesome. That's why I've just grown to love and be. You know, if you can accept that you have no control, then you have control to some degree, because you can be like, hey, at least I know I don't have control, and that in itself is like. That is like the ultimate amount of control, because science is trying to gain control, religion is trying to give control over like what happens to you after death. In reality, you have absolutely no fucking control no matter what you do, and all of it is basically just layers of abstraction and layers of trying to like, you know, distort your reality, trying to change, persuade yourself, trying to trick yourself. In reality, if you just accept things for the way they are, like, then you have like the most amount of peace ever. Because on top of that, if you think about it, if I die after death, or what am I saying? If I die and I do not go anywhere after death, I just cease to exist entirely. That's like it's totally like once again subjective how you view that, because it's like if there's no such thing as heaven or hell, there's no such thing as an afterlife. That in and of itself is like beautiful to me, because it's like, because if you stop existing, that means every value, like every single second. The reason why life and death, once again duality, why you can't exist without its contrast. If you live forever, how much would a second be worth? It would basically be worth nothing, but because it's finite, it like technically can be seen as having an infinite amount of value. So that's why it's so fucking beautiful, because if we just straight up cease to just not exist at all after this, then that also is like a good ending in a way, because it's like every second we spent here is forever saved in memory and history. It's forever. It was the fact that we existed one time is saying so much beyond we could ever possibly try to describe or comprehend. The fact that we existed, the fact that we can have this conversation right now, and that we're having, you know, walking on this trail, it's just so fucking beautiful. And everything was interconnected, like connected to be able to lead up to this very moment, you know, and like how it all played out. Like it's beyond comprehension. It's like the word, I think I told you about it last night, Amir, the word yugen in Japanese. It basically is a word without definition, but it also could be a word with infinite meaning. Like it's just indescribable. It's a word without definition. It's basically 0 and 1.
Zero is my favorite number, by the way.
Yeah, exactly. Everything and nothing. Once again, it's a word to describe that. So that's what I see to like describe that with as well. So it's like that type of shit. It's you know, it's just beyond beautiful. Like how I'm able to accept that. And like if you have that kind of mentality, like literally, like nothing, like, you know, it's like everything's crazy. Because I mean, if you think about it, if everything came from like God, right? If everything came from an origin, if there is an origin, if there is a start, which I believe there is, to this infinite hierarchy of paradoxes and whatnot to keep you from reaching this summitless mountain, basically, like, hold on, let's slow down because I don't want to be talking my ear of like when there's people like right in front of us, but it's so you know, they heard us. They heard it. But what I'm trying to say is, okay, she was behind me. What I'm trying to say is, Oh my god, that was so awkward. We stopped and just like, we're like, oh, you guys, like, you probably heard like everything we were saying the whole time because I was talking super fucking loud. So
Honestly,
good.
who cares?
Oh yeah, who cares? But what I'm trying to say is, yeah, like if you think of that origin, right, where everything stemmed from that origin, that includes time itself, meaning outside of our
time
reality.
is a construct.
Yeah, exactly. It's another kind of dimension as well. We're moving along this, this line or what. But like if you think about like time itself, because we put everything in perspective of time, like we think that praying will be able to reach like God or whatever. We think that it will affect everything in the now, when really everything's probably already preemptively set in motion perfectly the way it was already meant to be.
Well,
because he exists outside of time as a singularity with no start, end, or in between, or the present. He is just a single being.
Well, here's the thing. Like we're
inside. Yeah, and
we're
so if you think,
inside.
Let me finish real quick. Like, if you think of it outside of time, one instant of our life can be seen as infinite outside of time because it's a singularity, correct? So it's like to us, it's a finite amount of time we're on this planet and be able to do stuff. But outside of time, we're forever stored in this memory and like this catalog, these instances that live on forever but never type of shit, So that means we're all basically immortal in a sense, but to us, we are mortal.
Where's
and because
that?
we are mortal, we'll be able to
Those
have...
houses.
I don't know. They're just cool houses.
Yeah,
Okay, but what were you going to say, Amir?
Oh, that house is cool.
Yeah, what were you going to say, though, Amir? You were talking about...
I think the reason, like we're trying to, science is, approximating line of best fit and everything. Like, it's, we're, local instances inside the system. We're inside the system. We're not existing outside to observe it, it's actual thing. So we're, using inference.
But yeah, no, it's so simple. How everything's, it's just so simple. And it's like, when you come to do that, it's like prejudice, all that stuff becomes so silly. Racism, sexism, or sexuality type shit. It's just all so irrelevant when you just get to see the full picture. It's just like, oh, why the fuck do you give a shit about that type of stuff?
And
focus
on your
bag, ultimate
bro.
acceptance. I can talk about my mom, all that, that type of stuff. I used to be so fucking just dead from it. It's I can just fully accept all of it because everything is beautiful, everything is objective, everything is perfectly constructed in such a way that we get
you're gonna
whatever the hell we want, and we could choose the meaning of life, because the meaning of life is whatever you choose to make it, because subjectivity and whatnot. So
you're gonna love Xenoblade 3. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, I know. No, I've been playing 10 hours in.
Life.
Yeah, I know. And life and death. No, I know. I already have a taste of it. I already know it's gonna lead up to that.
It's whole endless now.
Yes. Dude, I know, it's fucking beautiful. It's so awesome. I love that shit, man.
I think it's gonna be your favorite one.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No, I need to play it more. I need to play it more for sure.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Yeah, most definitely. But yeah.
Xenoblade 3 is one of those where you play it and then your true appreciation.
You want to play it again. It's
comes from it after.
Yeah, it's just wow. You just got to sit back and just be like.
No, not right after you finish the game. But more
in time, yeah.
Let's say a month from then, you're like, wow.
It's damn. That shit was deep.
Yeah.
Oh man. Shit. Alright.
12/28/2022 is what this was recorded on